Hi family, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming back. Today's video, I just share with you my takeaways from what I learned from MJ Dermaco's book entitled The Millionaire Fastlane. This book I recommend to every person who would like to build generational wealth, is wondering where do I start, what sort of business do I build. There's so many gems in this book, but before we go further, I just want to say to all our new visitors, thank you so much for stopping by here. My name is Wupe, and on this channel I talk about everything wholesome and purposeful living. I am very much oriented to a growth mindset because I want a life that is full, awesome, and purposeful no matter what path you choose. So if this is the kind of life you would like to build, you are welcome to stay here by hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of this growth content. And like I said when I was starting, today we're looking at MJ Dermaco's book, and I'm basically giving a review. Excellent, 5 out of 5. This is a very big book. It is really a course in and of itself, and I would suggest putting enough time to read and consume. If anything, don't read it once, always go back on it, set it as a standard of how you are doing. So I'll break it down into 3 parts. I'll talk about the 3 lanes, the 5 commandments, and some quotes. And this is not even half the stuff he teaches in this book. He teaches so much, and I really hope everyone can make time to either read it or listen to it. It's very informative and you want to read this book. So we'll start with the 3 lanes. So MJ Dermaco in his book suggests that each of us is one of 3 paths, okay? You're either on the sidewalk, or you're on the slow lane, or you are on the fast lane, which he mostly advocates for. So what does it mean to be on the sidewalk? Basically, being on the sidewalk is being the YOLO type of person. No real goals. You live only once, so let me finish my money. You're in the top life gang without a plan. You're one paycheck to broke, and you just don't really have a plan. You always wait on the government to fix your problems. No one is coming to save you. There is a mathematical formula that applies to a sidewalk, and this is wealth is equal to income plus debt. There's a belief that the more debt you collect, you use debt to make money and things like that. And he also talks about people on the sidewalk don't even look like people who are typically on the sidewalk. This can even be famous people who are millionaires making money, and you think they have a lot of money. But the truth is, he says you can't fix a money problem with more money. If you don't know how to manage money, you are doomed no matter how much money you have. And this is what he says. So this is a very grim picture with the sidewalkers, and I was glad, when I read it, I'm like, I'm definitely not in that group, and I am glad. So there's a basic love for debt, no real plan, trying to solve money with money, always complaining, always waiting on the government to solve your problems, but we all know they won't. So yeah, that's the sidewalk, and I don't even intend to dwell on it and waste so much time on it because it's non-progressive. If you're on the sidewalk, get off it. So the next one is the slow lane, okay? So on the slow lane, he doesn't actually say you can never get rich. He says it's possible to get rich, but it is super slow. And he says to avoid it. So on the slow lane is what we know. In fact, even just ourselves, like in Zambia, it's a very common thing where you go to school, get a college degree, go to university, find a well-paying job, save 10% of what you earn, put it in an investment somewhere so that you can retire rich, maybe at 65. Now, I also have to tell you that this book is not for the faint-hearted. It's a lot of tough love. And he debunks a lot of theories that we believe. Like I'm telling you now, this is what we grew up believing. Go to school, get a good paying job, choose a safe life, and yeah, retire rich, but late, right? So he talks about you can be retiring at 65 and maybe you are tired and you have non-communicable diseases and you're not really able to enjoy your wealth, and he doesn't support that. Okay, the slow laners depend on compound interest. So you put your money in stocks or invest it in some way so that it is growing slowly. He is not against compound interest. He is against compound interest on small amounts and how it is a scam to try and get rich off of compound interest, right? So if you have a lot more money and you're working with compound interest, that's great. But if you have little money and working on compound interest, he says it's a scam, because the value of money now is not the value of money much later. I mean, there's many schools of thoughts, and honestly, I haven't also made up my mind whether I completely agree with him on that. It's Miss Kawaii who said it's better to have 800,000 kwacha worth of money in 10 years, that is at the value of $1 million now, than not have any money invested at all. It makes sense. And from that approach, I agree with Channel. MJ Dermaco just says the slow lane is a scam because true wealth means having time, and in the slow lane you trade your time for money. For you to earn more money, you have to go to school, maybe get your master's degree, gain more knowledge to earn more money. But even for you to earn more money, it means you have to get a better job, which is even more demanding, which takes time away from your family and all the stuff that you want to do. Right? So he just says, no, that's not the way. So you can get rich on the slow lane, but that's what it is. It is really, really slow, and you have to cut back on a lot of things for you to get rich and live comfortable. But that comfort will only come much later in life, and that's postponing your comfort for later, right? So according to MJ Dermaco, the formula for wealth on the slow lane is wealth is equal to job plus market investments. Now, his opposition to this method is you are trading your time for money, okay? And then he just says, what's the point? What's the point? You can't be working throughout doing work to earn money, and he's opposed to that. MJ Dermaco also argues that the danger with the slow lane is that on the face of it, it looks like it's safe. But if anything has taught us that a job is not safe, it's the advent of COVID, right? Where people lost their jobs, and even if you had your master's degree, even if you had your PhD, if you didn't have a business and you lost your job today, even if your intrinsic value is really high and there's no one to employ you, then what, right? So he makes some really compelling arguments in his book about this. I just like how MJ Dermaco in his book addresses 3 different mindsets. The ones no matter what, I cannot support are the people on the sidewalk. Those, guys, I don't get it. Like how you can just be on your low lane. It doesn't even make sense to me. But he addresses 3 different mindsets. At least in the second and the third group, they all have goals. One wants to be super wealthy. The second one in the slow lane that we have just discussed is someone who wants to live a comfortable life after they retire. And it's reasonable. I think it's a reasonable choice for someone to choose that, because there are people who do not have the grit for a business. So MJ Dermaco on the fast lane advocates for quit your job and build a business, and that is the only way to be truly wealthy. And again, it's not just about quitting your job to build a business. He then gets into those 5 commandments I was telling you about of building that particular business, and when you build those money trees, then you can, be wealthy. But there are some people I know, especially people in our parents' generation, who I don't think were built for that, for the demand. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible what he's saying. It's very possible, and all of us can build the kind of business. I truly believe that everyone can. I just don't know, especially in our economy and the opportunities that are available, the nature. Honestly, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I don't know if his suggestions are for everyone. But for you and me, that it is for. This is what he suggests. You quit the job and build the business. Yeah, my mother would just pass out if she heard me say this. But yes, that's what he's advocating for. Quit the job so that you put in time into building the business that will eventually give you the freedom to spend time with family and work on the things you love. Guys, this book is rich. So me who likes network marketing and who was recently even involved with Avon, he just helped me see that network marketing is good to the extent that you learn team building, you learn marketing skills. But the people who are getting the wealth are the people at the top. And his question was, why are you building another person's business and not building your own? So it's good, like if you're in a season where you're learning marketing and sales, it's necessary for those skills, but you can't make your whole plan to be based on Avon or whatever, Angel or whatever, as your way to get rich, because the more you sell, the bigger money goes elsewhere, and it's not something you can control. He debunked so many things. It can leave you depressed. Please come with a tough skin when reading this book. So anyway, the 5 commandments can be put in an acronym, which we can say cents, like 1 cent, 2 cents, the money. C stands for control. He says that for you to build a business that can bring you the wealth that we desire is to build a business that you have control over the product, the time, the distribution, everything. Otherwise, like even for instance, the way I was giving you an example of doing network marketing, you have no control of how Avon will decide today to price things, right? So if they change, it affects your market and things like that. So he says, number 1, you should have control. E, he talks about entry. Excuse me, let me drink some water. He says the barrier to entry must be high because it limits competitors. Again, I'll go back to the network marketing example. If all I need to do to join a business is pay 200 kwacha, a lot of people can enter it, and a lot of people do, and that means that the market is saturated, it's easy to do, and therefore it's harder to get rich. So you enter a business that is more difficult, right? For instance, you have like Amazon, which is a distribution type of business. So you know that it will be very difficult for you to create the next eBay or the next Amazon. So if you do it successfully, the barrier to entry to doing that is very, very high, and the competition is insane. So if you do that, you build a great business. So that's one we had. Control, you should be able to control your product, your service, or whatever. 2, the barrier to entry must be high. N, which I think is the most important, was fulfilling need. And fulfilling need debunked another thing about, you know how everyone tells you, oh, do what you love and you will never have to work another day in your life. He just debunked that. He said that's nonsense. You can only do what you love if it fulfills these 5 commandments, or at least most of these 5 commandments, right? So does what you love fulfill a need? So you love to sing, great. What need are you feeling? And can people pay you to fulfill that need? We have looked at control, the barrier to entry being high. We have looked at the importance of fulfilling a need, and that it's not automatic that if you do something you love, then you're going to make money. Then we're looking at number 4 now, which is time. Find something that if you start to do does not require you eventually to put in your 8 to 5. When you build this business, it should be able to work and earn money passively for you in time. And also, so this business should be detached from your time. Remember how in the slow lane, his argument was that no, the slow lane is a scam, because for every dollar you earn, for every kwacha you earn, you have to put in time. But for this one, he is saying in the people who are in the fast lane and are truly wealthy, they have built money trees, and these money trees do not require them to be there all the time. Occasionally, yes, to go and see maintenance or whatever, but they are not required to be there all the time. An example of a business like this is people who develop software. All you have to do is sell it over and over and over again. I wrote a book, for instance. I'll only write it once. After I market it and whatever, it's gone. it's done. I will never have to do it like that again. You only write it once, you only create it once. You build a business that separates your time from your effort so that you can actually have time to do what you love. When you use your passion to be your money maker, you risk being resentful towards your passion when it doesn't earn you what you need. So rather make money. When you've made money, then follow your passion, because then it's great. Yeah. And so the last one on our sense is scale. So like the example of the lemonade outside my gate, right? Your business must be scalable. If I take a lemonade cart outside my yard, the people I'll be able to target are probably people within the area or people who are driving by. And once they buy my lemonade, that's it. That's all my clientele. But he advocates for businesses that you can scale. So for instance, if I make a facial product the way I had been telling you about, I used to struggle with acne. Maybe from that, I develop a skincare product that is really, really good. So I've already fulfilled the need. People have acne, so the need is for them to take away their acne so that they can feel confident. Also, I have the formula already. I will never have to study again to make the formula. So I have fulfilled the aspect of time. And the first one, which is control. It's my product. I decide how much money I will sell it to. The barrier for entry with beauty products, really, the barrier, beauty is an area that cannot be saturated. This has been proved. If you have a formula for face, go ahead. Beauty, never saturated. So I have fulfilled all these, right? Then I put it on the market. So instead of me putting a stand outside my gates to sell my product, I can build an online store, partner with some influencers to spread the word about my product. I can ship products abroad as long as they meet the standards in all the countries where they are going and the legal requirements. So that's basically what he is saying, that we should build businesses that are money trees, that they do not require us to be there all the time. They should make us passive income. He even lists some examples of what money trees can be. Distribution systems like Amazon, where you are a middleman between the consumer and the producer. And speaking of consumer and producer, he was also saying one of the ways to change your mindset is to stop thinking like a consumer. When you walk into Hungry Lion, rather than thinking, oh, that guy has ordered so much chicken, I wish I had enough money, think in terms of the system. Like, I wonder what system is in place for them to replicate these stores. What can I do? Like, don't think like a consumer, think like a business person, think like a producer. The other one was software systems like I had already mentioned. Also content like this that I'm doing. Once I put this out, it stays on here. Once I'm monetized, many years later, this content can make me passive income. So there's so much I could say about this book. It's a big book, and I urge you to even just here on YouTube look at other summaries, because maybe other people could have taken a different approach to this, and you could learn more. But MJ Dermaco's book is really good because of the practical ways it provides for us to change our mindsets and our perspectives about money and think in terms of growth. One very important thing that Dermaco says in his book, very important, is that get rich quick is not get rich easy. Okay? Get rich quick is not get rich easy. You have to put in the time. He proposes that quick, in terms of quick in this book, is 10 years. So if you quit your job today, give yourself at least 10 years to earn this wealth. So please, this was the most important thing, I think, because there's so many get rich quick schemes. Join this farming group, you put in 2,000 kwacha today, next year you're going to get 25,000. It's a scam. Don't fall for it. Okay, now let's look at my favorite quotes. Owner of an idea is not he who imagines it, but he who executes it, right? And the first example I thought about was the one about Facebook. And there's so many people you can share ideas with, and you can even have many great ideas. Even me, like if my friends and I had this great idea before to do delivery, going to be the first delivery company in Zambia. And we started on it, but halfway through we stopped, right? And then there were many delivery companies have come on board now, and we didn't even share these examples with them, right, of things that we could do or how we could go about it, but they have gone on to make stacks and stacks of money off that idea. So I like that that the person whose idea it is not the one who imagines it, but the one who actually executes it. And Facebook is a good example because it may not have been Mark's original idea, as we have heard from the stories, but hey, he's the one who executed it, and it takes tons of work to do that, and kudos to him. And the other one is, for do what you love to work, you need two things. Your love must solve a need, and two, you must be exceptional at it, because if you love something, there's a likelihood that someone else loves it too. The other one is, wealth eludes most people because they are preoccupied with events while disregarding process. Without process, there is no event. And in the book for this one, he talks a lot about, we only see the end product, right? When someone has earned $1 billion from the company, but no one is going to tell you that they used to film videos for 20 or 15 years before they made that $1 billion. So it's about, let's not be preoccupied with the event where we see someone make their $1 billion or earn that money. Let's learn to appreciate the process and seeing the process through. And like I had said, one of the main takeaways for me from the book was that quick does not mean easy, and you should not take away process for you to create wealth. Another one is, you could own the best hotel in the world located in the best beach in California, but if customers are treated like inconveniences and requests go unfulfilled, they will not return. So another key that he teaches is customer service. And if anyone is good at building like customer service in Zambia, like there's so much room, because the customer service in so many businesses in Zambia is rubbish. It's rubbish. Customer service in Zambia. So it's an excellent book. I really love it, and I think I'll be going back on it a lot, especially on the commandments. I'm not quitting my job yet, so I'm still on the slow lane-ish. And one last one. Time isn't a commodity, something you pass around like cake. Time is the substance of your life. When anyone asks you to give you their time, they are really asking for a chunk of your life. Thank you for sharing a chunk of your life with me today, and I hope I brought you some value. This is all I had for you today. Thank you for joining me. Until the next one, this has been Wupe. Remember to hit that subscribe button and especially turn on the notification bell so you do not miss a thing when I add some value to your chunk of the time. Thank you so much for joining me. Until the next one, I have to love and leave you. Bye.